guys, welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Gothic 2, and let's slide back into action. That was a dirty joke. Jesus Christ. Now, in this episode, we'll be getting into the city, finally. Now, we don't really want to go here yet. This area is dangerous, but we will clear it out later. Same goes for this area. Actually, no, we could kill the two later. But otherwise... Oh wait. There's always two things. Right, so we're not gonna go this way or that way. Yeah, we're gonna head into the city first. Because there's a lot to do in this thing, but as you know, I do have the pass. I have 10 herbs, but we're gonna ignore all this. Because we want to get, as I said, I'm like a hardcore Let's Player. So I'm going to go up here. We need to drop this down. Wait a sec. It's wrong. There we go. Drop that. Step on that. And then we can jump. What? Wait a sec. There we go. That way we're in town. And that's kind of like a bug. Do not speak with this guy. Avoid everything right now. Avoid everyone and everything.
No, he insisted he knew better.
Avoid everyone. And what's this guy's name? Actually, let me just decrease the I'm getting some stuttering. What's this guy's name? Pablo, yeah, don't speak to him yet. Avoid everyone right now. And then we'll make our way. Avoid this guy, Mo, over here. Avoid him too. And we're gonna speak to Larez.
I must be crazy. What are you doing here? Did you swim here? That's one way to get past the guards at the city gate.
He doesn't see that. I can't help it.
Hey, Laris, you old scoundrel, how did you get here?
I was able to escape to the Valley of Mines just in time, together with Lee and some of the other boys. You remember Lee, don't you?
Of course I remember Lee.
I got out of the colony with him then, just after the barrier was destroyed. He and his boys are now on the farm of Onar, the landowner. He made a deal with the farmer. He and his boys defend the farm, and Onar feeds them in return.
You listen to the wrong people.
Alright, so we're not gonna talk to Larez anymore.
Those are all just rumors.
Go back to the start again, avoiding everyone.
Obvious all along.
The reason why Larez said, asked if we swam here is because there is really no other way to get into the city, and not talk to the guards without swimming. So basically, ooh, avoid Pablo. No!
Hey, you, wait. You look familiar to me.
What do you want?
I've seen your face before somewhere, right?
This is hilarious.
Here, we found this picture on some bandits we picked up a few days ago. It looks a lot like you. Apparently, those guys were looking for you.
Gee, I'd never have thought of that myself.
Very funny. What did those guys want from you?
Ask them yourself. You've got them safely locked up, haven't you?
No, they're dead.
I guess we'll never know then.
If you're in some kind of trouble, go talk to Lord Andre. Maybe he can help you. You'll find him in the barracks.
So apparently someone from the bandits is looking for us. Well, let's just make our way back. And so yeah, basically it gives you the most XP if you talk to Larez and he thinks you swam here. But of course I just show you a way to not swim here and still get 500 XP. And now we're gonna go through the guards. We're gonna go right here. They're supposed to actually like speak to me.
Leave me alone.
They're supposed to speak to me. If I get a little bit further away and walk the city gate again.
Halt!
What is it?
You aren't getting in here, my boy.
Why not?
Looking the way you do, you're sure to cause nothing but trouble here, boy. We got enough rabble in the city. We have no use for people without money.
I need to see the leader of the Paladins. I've got an important message for him.
Oh, and what important message might that be?
I have come to get the Eye of Innos.
What? Never heard of it. What's that supposed to be?
It's an important artifact.
You don't look much like an important messenger. Do you have some kind of identification?
And then would you say that I brought some herbs for Constantine the Alchemist? Because if you say that I've got a pass or you give him 100 gold pieces, then that's not going to give you an experience. But if you say I brought some herbs, then it's going to give you experience. As I said, we want to get as much XP as possible. I'm just soaking out all the XP that's possible to soak out of this game, as you can see.
I've come to join the militia.
That's a good one. Try that at the other gate. Maybe they'll buy that from you.
I'm bringing some herbs for Constantino the Alchemist.
Really? Then you won't mind showing me what you brought. Looks good. All right, in you go. But don't cause any trouble. Understood?
So as you can see, we just soaked out 600 XP out of that, out of nothing really.
Halt, stranger. I am Lothar, Paladin of the King and humble servant of Innos, your lord. Our commander, Lord Hagen, has entrusted me with the task of explaining to all newcomers the new laws which apply to all inhabitants of the city.
Since people have started simply vanishing all over this town, everyone needs to watch out that they don't suffer the same fate.
I have an important message for the leader of the Paladins.
The Honorable Lord Hagen is not receiving anyone. Lord Andre, the commander of the city guard, is responsible for all issues pertaining to the common folk.
Listen, the city is threatened by dragons.
That can't be true. Another lunatic. We have enough unrest in the city as it is. And without some dimwit scaring people with fairy tales about dragons, I immediately locked up the last person who was here telling dragon tales and sent him to the Valley of Mines with the prison transport. So mind your tongue.
That must be
We
Diego.
can't use anyone here who spreads panic among the people.
Somebody already reported the dragons here?
Yes. The fellow's name was Diego. I think so, in any case. I warned him just like you. But the lunatic just wouldn't stop getting on my nerves.
I have come to get the Eye of Innos.
The sacred Eye of Innos? How do you know about that? You're not a member of the Order.
A magician told me about it.
I don't know what his motives were when he entrusted one of the secrets of our Order to you. But he certainly didn't mean for you to get your fingers on it.
But
I don't want to hear any more about it. First you start with fairy tales about dragons, and then this. Incredible.
The townspeople are simply disappearing?
Yes, it seems to be more every day. It's most annoying that the militia have still not been able to discover what's behind these strange occurrences. Small wonder that the town's inhabitants are very wary of strangers right now. So don't provoke them when you're in town. Understood?
all right, explain the rules of the city to me.
First, the Honorable Paladin Lord Hagen resides in the upper quarter, along with his troops. That is why access to the upper quarter is allowed only to honorable citizens. Second, the town hall in the upper quarter is now the command post of the Paladins. Only the Paladins themselves and members of the militia have access to it. And third, whoever is accused of a crime must exonerate himself with the commander of the militia. Any questions?
How do I become a citizen of the town?
Only those with regular jobs will be considered citizens of the town. But don't think that you'll be admitted to Lord Hagen just because you're a citizen of the town. As a citizen, you have access to the upper quarter, nothing more. Only as a member of the militia will you have access to the town hall.
That's all just gossip.
Where can I find work?
You'll have to apply as an apprentice to one of the masters here in the lower part of the city. As soon as a master accepts you, you are a citizen of the town. However, the other masters must agree to it. That's the custom here in Corinth. If you were thinking about looking for work in the Harbor District, forget it. The scum of the city live there. Don't even go there. You would regret it.
How do I get to the upper quarter?
Say, are you listening to me at all? You're not a citizen of this town. You can save yourself the trip. The guards won't let you in. The entire area behind the inner gate is off limits to you.
How do I get accepted into the militia?
By express command of Lord Hagen, only citizens of the town will be admitted into the militia.
I see.
If you want to know more, speak to Lord Andre in the barracks.
What do I have to do to get armor like yours?
What? You aren't even a member of the militia. You're not even a citizen. How can you even think of being allowed to wear the armor of a paladin? Only a few militia soldiers, those who have performed extraordinary deeds, have been granted that honor so far. If you want to be a paladin, you have a long road ahead of you, my boy.
He never would have thought of that himself.
Where can I find the commander of the city guard?
Lord Andre can be found in the barracks at the other end of the city.
I'm no better off myself.
Where can I spend the night here?
If you're looking for a place to sleep, go to the hotel directly across from the barracks. The paladins pay for the lodging of all travelers who come to the city. The traveling traders from the marketplace are also lodged there.
I never knew that.
Ooh, that was a long
I've
talk.
got to go.
If I hear one more time that you are telling people here about dragons, you will be in big trouble. Do I make myself clear?
Alright, so right before we talk to anyone else, I'm just show you a little trick. If you actually manage to get into this house, which I did before. Sorry, not into, onto this house. If you just, I usually try to do it like this somehow. Wait, I managed it before, I think. There we go. Then you can make your way down here. And then in this chest there's a whole bunch of goodies. But don't even speak to the guard when you're here, because otherwise he's gonna beat you up. Take all the gold. All this can be sold for an insane amount of money, like 500 gold coins. That's a whole ton. Now, I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be done, like, legally. This is supposed to be done by going to the marketplace and buying a sleep spell scroll, which makes the guard fall asleep, but I do it this way. Now, and we get a really decent piece of armor, as you see, leather armor. 25 weapon protection, 20 arrow protection, and 5 fire. The citizen's clothing is pretty bad, it's 10/10. All of them are like that. So this is the best.
Halt! No one may enter the storeroom!
Why can't anyone enter the storeroom?
The Honorable Lord Hagen has confiscated the goods for the King's army.
Nice one. Well, I'm the King's army now.
Hello, stranger. You must be hungry and thirsty. Perhaps I can interest you in my wares.
What do you have to offer?
At the moment, I don't have much choice. The damned landowner doesn't deliver anymore. And what we get from the small farms isn't enough to meet the demands of the city.
Tell me more about the peasants' revolt.
It's quite simple. Onar, the fat landowner, won't pay any more taxes to the city. Imagine, we're at war with the orcs, and that fat slob wants everything for himself. Normally, the city guard would take firm measures in such cases. But now comes the best part. They say Onar has hired mercenaries to keep the troops from the city off his back. Mercenaries. The whole thing will end in a damn war, as if one war weren't enough.
What do you know about Onar's mercenaries?
I heard that most of them are former convicts from the mining colony, and their leader's supposed to have been a big shot with the king, a general or something, whom they put away as a traitor. These are terrible times.
I need some money, and I'm looking for work.
I've heard that Bosper has trouble with his suppliers. His shop is right over there. They say he pays pretty well.
Yeah, if you're wondering which of the masters I'm going to be joining, Herod the Smith, Bosper the Bowmaker, or Constantino the Alchemist, I'm going to be choosing Bosper here because, first of all, you just need 5 LP points and you have tons of money, tons and tons and tons of money. While as Herod, you need to learn, when you're a smith, you need to learn tons of different recipes for tons of different swords. Or if you're with Constantino, who you can give him mushrooms for gold, which is pretty retarded because I want to eat the mushrooms myself. So it's a lot better to join Bosper.
I was actually on my way to see the Paladins.
There's little chance of that. Since the Paladins made themselves at home in the upper end of town, hardly anyone gets in there anymore.
Can you help me get into the upper quarter?
Me? Nah. I don't have much say here myself. There are a few people in the lower city who have enough influence to get you past the guards. Mateo, my boss, is one of them. Maybe you should talk to him.
Where did you pick that up then?
Where can I find Mateo?
You're standing right outside his shop. Just go on in. He's practically always there.
What about the other influential citizens?
The merchants and master craftsmen here on the main street are the most important figures in the city. You should try to get accepted by one of them as an apprentice like me. Since I started working for Mateo, the people in the city treat me with respect.
It's a bad business.
Alright, so these are just genuine NPCs, so there's no point in talking to them.
Mustn't believe everything.
So let's go into Mateo's shop.
That's been known a long time.
What can I do for you?
What are you selling?
I can offer you everything you need to survive in the wild. Weapons, torches, provisions, even armor. I still have a special piece in stock. Double hardened armor of snapper leather. Still unused. Interested?
I'm basically wearing that right now, so there's no point in buying that. See? Weapons 25, arrow 20.
What do you know about Paladins?
Since these bastards have come to the city, I've had nothing but trouble. The last time I was headed for the upper end of town, the guards flat out stopped me and asked me what was my business there.
And?
Of course they let me in. I had my shop in the city when most of those pompous asses were still chasing pigs with wooden swords. And yesterday, the bastards came and confiscated half of my goods.
The Paladins seized your goods.
I got
Everything I had stored in the backyard. They simply posted a guard in front of the entrance to the yard. If I'm lucky, they won't take everything. At least they might leave the armor here.
Nah, I got them.
Show me your wares.
Let's just sell them some of the stuff, because really don't need some of the stuff. For example, mandibles, hammers, and lab water bottles. Pretty useless. Let's sell a bunch of torches, we don't need many. Let's see, wanted note, we don't need that. We don't need lights, since we have torches, and we don't need all the citizens' clothing.
Can you help me get into the upper quarter?
What? What are you going to do there?
I've got an important message.
Well, well. Have you tried getting past the guards?
I don't see why I should even try.
You're probably right. I don't know how important your message is, and it's none of my business. But even if you told them that a ship full of orcs just anchored in the harbor, they'd send you away, because they have their orders.
So can you help me get into the upper quarter?
It seems to be really important to you. The question is, how important is it to you?
What are you getting at?
I can help you. After all, I'm one of the most influential people here, but it'll cost you.
How exactly can you help me?
Quite simple. I'll use my influence to see to it that one of the master craftsmen here takes you on as an apprentice. As such, you'll practically be a citizen of the city and can enter the upper quarter. Besides which, you'll earn something while you're at it.
Where could I sign on as an apprentice then?
Basically, with any master here on the main street. That would be Herod the Smith, Bosper the Bowmaker, Thorben the Carpenter, or Constantino the Alchemist. One of them is bound to take you on. But it's important that the other masters agree. That's always been the custom here in Corinus.
How do I get the approval of the other masters?
You just have to convince them. Go and talk to them. But if more than one of them is against you, you don't stand a chance. So behave yourself.
Why don't you take me on as an apprentice?
I would, but the other masters wouldn't agree. I just recently took on another apprentice.
Is there another way to get into the upper quarter?
Perhaps. If I think of anything, I'll let you know.
What are you asking for your help?
100 gold pieces.
You shark.
Take it easy. It isn't your gold I have in mind.
But
In principle, it's my gold. Greta, the carpenter's niece, hasn't paid what she owes me in ages. But the little brat is constantly running around in new clothes. That means she has the money. I'd like to beat it out of her. But Master Thorben, the carpenter, is also a very influential man. Get me the money and I'll help you.
where can I find this Greta?
Like I said, she's the carpenter's niece. His house is down the street, the last house on the right before the smithy.
Help me sign on as an apprentice with one of the masters.
One thing at a time. First fulfill your part of the deal and bring me the gold.
So now you have to have a word with Thorben, and then Greta. But let's just talk to Regis.
Hey, you're new in town, huh?
Yes, and what about you?
I've come from the mainland, and now I'm hanging around here. I'm almost out of gold, so all I can do now is join the militia, I guess. But I don't want to do that. I won't be slaughtered by those orcs on the king's behalf.
What can you tell me about the militia?
One of the paladins has taken command. A certain Lord Andre. He's trying to mobilize half the city in case the orcs attack. But you need to be a citizen of the town in order to be admitted. As far as I know, if you're not a citizen, you can train anyway. But you won't be officially admitted.
What else can you tell me about Lord Andre?
He has taken over the position of judge as well. If you cause any trouble in this town, you're gonna have to answer to him. I was once in a brawl with a citizen. He went crying to Lord Andre and ratted me out. That little matter cost me 50 gold pieces. I was lucky that it happened at night, or others would have witnessed it. The more people complain about you in this town, the higher your penalty will be.
Who did you fight with?
With a fellow named Valentino. He often hangs out in the tavern near the temple. I'm not usually a violent person, but that guy needed his face rearranged in the worst way.
Has anything exciting happened?
You could say that. They robbed Bosper the bowmaker. What a brazen thing to do, I tell you. The fellow just ambled into the shop in broad daylight and grabbed himself a bow. And Bosper right after him, hollering, "Stop right there, you rogue!" But the thief was too fast.
Who's this? Ah, Thorben. Let's speak to you then.
Hey, you!
Ah, fresh face. You're not from Corinus, are you? This is not a good time for travelers. Bandits everywhere, no work, and now the farmers have risen up too. What winds have blown you here?
I've come about Greta.
My niece? What's your business with her? This isn't about money, is it?
She owes 100 gold pieces to the merchant Matteo.
Tell me this isn't true. Ever since that little piece of work moved in with me, I've had nothing but trouble. She's in debt with practically every single merchant in town. I had to borrow 200 gold pieces from Lamar, the moneylender, just to settle her debts. And now this. Greta should be in the house. Go ahead, ask her. But I tell you this, she doesn't have a single gold piece.
We shall see. What do you know about the Paladins?
Not much. They arrived by ship 2 weeks ago from the mainland. Since then, they have withdrawn to the upper end of town. Nobody here really knows exactly why they have come. Many are afraid of an attack by the orcs. I suppose, however, that they are here to quell the farmers' rebellion.
Do you know anything about the Peasants' Rebellion?
Rumor has it that Onar, the landowner, has hired mercenaries to keep the king's troops from breathing down his neck. He was probably tired of having to throw his harvest along with his livestock at paladins and militia. All we notice of this in town is that the food prices keep rising. Onar's farm lies far to the east of here. We wouldn't know if there's any fighting going on there. And if you want to know more, ask the merchants in the marketplace. They get around the island more than I do.
I'm looking for work.
Do you know anything about carpentry?
The only thing I can make out of wood is a fire.
And what about locks?
Well...
I'm sorry, but I can't use you if you know nothing about my trade. And I have no money to pay for an apprentice.
What if I want to start an apprenticeship with one of the other masters here?
All right, I shall give you my approval. But you had better get yourself the blessing of the gods first. Say, are you a man of faith?
Yes, a most humble servant, Master Thorben.
Then go to Vatras, the priest of Adanos, and have him give you his blessing. He will tell you where you can find a priest of Innos. You should get his blessing, too. Once you have received the blessing of the gods, I shall vote for you.
How about your approval, Master?
Has Vatras given you his blessing?
Not yet.
Then I don't know why you're asking me again. You know my terms.
So, you know a lot about locks.
What good is a fine chest without a fine lock? I make my own locks. That way, I can at least be sure I haven't built my chest that sturdy for nothing. A poorly made lock is easy to break. And there are plenty of thieves about in Corinus, especially lately.
Can you teach me how to pick locks?
I don't know whether you can be trusted or not. For all I know, you might be one of those layabouts who only come to town to empty the chests of honest people. I'm not going to teach you anything before I'm convinced that you're an honest fellow.
Can you sell me some lockpicks?
Well, all right, but they won't be of any use to you as long as you don't know how they work.
Have you had an apprentice before?
Yes, and not too long ago.
And what happened?
His name is Elvrich. He's my nephew. I was quite pleased with him, actually, but one day he simply didn't show up for work.
Where is Elvrich now?
How would I know? He kept hanging around that filthy brothel by the harbor. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still warming the bed of some whore down there.
How long has it been since you saw him?
I guess it must be about 2 weeks.
Have you reported that to the militia?
Of course I have. They were supposed to catch him and see to it that the Lazy Bones does his work. But I already regret that. He can do whatever he wants. Sooner or later he'll realize he'll get nowhere in Corinus without a decent job.
Is that so?
By the way, you can't really just sneak into people's houses and pick their locks. Because if they see you doing it, then you're in serious trouble because they're going to start beating you up and then you're going to have to pay money to Andre. So it's better to learn, if you want to steal stuff, then it's better to learn sneak around people's houses at night.
What do you want, stranger? If you've come to beg, I must disappoint you. I am a poor widow. My name is Greta. Ever since my husband died, I have been running the household for my uncle Thorben.
How's it going?
Same as always, but I don't want to complain.
Mateo sent me. You still owe him some gold.
He wants his money? What for? The goods he delivered were flawed, bad fabric, and bad seams. And did you look at the colors? Those are not the colors I ordered. That's fraud, that is. Let me tell you. Back when my husband was alive, he wouldn't have dared to do that. Oh, my poor husband.
Cut it out. Where's the gold?
But I don't have the gold. I'm only a poor widow.
Then we'll simply sell a few of your togs. I'm sure you've still got a bunch of stuff in your closet.
How dare you, uncouth lout. All right, here, take the gold.
See, that wasn't so hard.
And now will you please leave my house?
Speak to Thorben now. See what he has to say to that.
Your niece had 100 gold pieces.
What? The brazen little serpent. That was my gold. She took it from my chest. Give it back to me. I have to pay off Lamar first. Mateo can get his money later.
No, Mateo will get his money back from me.
You're getting me into a real mess that way. Lamar is not terribly generous when it comes to debts. But at least you're planning to pay my niece's debts. I guess I ought to thank you for that.
Can you teach me how to pick locks?
I don't know whether you can be trusted or not. For all I know, you might be one of those layabouts who only come to town to empty the chests of honest people. I'm not going to teach you anything before I'm convinced that you're an honest fellow.
How strange. Before, when I used to pay Gerda's debt, he would teach me lockpicking. But okay. That's weird. It's pretty late. It's 21:38. Dang.
Here's your 100 gold pieces.
And? Did she cause any problems?
None to speak of.
Good. You've held up your part of the deal.
Help me sign on as an apprentice with one of the masters.
Don't worry. I'll keep my part of the bargain. The other masters will only hear the best about you from me.
Alright, so there we go. That's one master out of the way. But it's too late right now, so how about we go to sleep? And to go to sleep, we have to find... the hotel.
Don't tell this to
That everyone is free to sleep in. Most of the traders at least. Yes, there's
You
a whole...
still owe me a favor. It is time to pay your debt.
What do you want?
I want my old stall in the marketplace back. Sarah snatched it away from me, but she has had that spot long enough. I want her to give up the stall.
And what's my part in this?
I will give you a letter to stick in her pocket. Then you go to Andre and tell him that Sarah is selling weapons to Onar. She lands in prison, you pocket the bounty, and I get the stall. You have 2 days to accomplish this.
What will happen if I refuse to do that?
That would be truly stupid of you, because you see, I know that you're an escaped convict. If that gets around, it could do considerable harm to your situation in the city.
All right, looks like I've got no choice.
You're a clever lad. Here is the letter.
How am I supposed to force the letter on her?
Let her show you her wares, and while she does, you hide the letter on her. And bear in mind, I am an influential man in the city, so don't try to play me for a fool.
That's true.
I've got to go.
Suit yourself.
It is really not... It's really better not to give Canther away, because if you do, then in chapter 4...
Ah, customer, what can I do for you?
I'm looking for a room.
Ah, you're in the right place then.
One of the paladins told me that I could spend the night here for free.
Yes, yes. Just go up the stairs. We still have 1 or 2 beds free.
Why do the paladins pay for everything?
I don't know what that's all about either. For one thing, I think they want to get all the poor suckers off the streets so they don't make any mischief. And for another, they want to get on the good side of the traveling traders. Now that the farmers are rebelling, we have to rely on the traders for provisions. Besides, I think they want to improve the morale in the city a bit. Lord Andre has even arranged for free beer to be given out at the Gala Square.
Who's staying here at the moment?
Almost all of them are traveling traders from the market.
Aha.
Don't even think about messing with their stuff. I don't want any trouble here.
I have a few questions about the city. Tell me about the town.
Corinus is one of the wealthiest cities within the kingdom, even if it doesn't look like it at the moment. But since the Orc War started, trade has almost come to a complete standstill. The king has requisitioned the entire merchant fleet for military service, which means that hardly any ships come into the harbor now. So, the supply of goods is very scarce now, and many citizens of the town are very worried. Nobody really knows what the future will bring. There's basically nothing we can do but wait and see what happens. It's not like we can change anything.
Where can I buy something around here?
The market is directly in front of the door. You should be able to find everything there. There are a few more shops and craftsmen on the other side of town. Most of them are near the other city gate. Also, there's a fishmonger in the harbor district. His shop is right at the harbor. He's easy to find.
Now, as I was saying, Cantor, you better not, like, you have two choices. Either you can, tell Lord Andre that Sarah is selling weapons to owner after you give her the letter, or you can say that Cantor is trying to get Sarah stalled. But if you say that, then in chapter 4, Cantor will get out of prison, and you'll have to pay 500 gold pieces for people to trade with you again, because he's gonna stop trading. He's gonna make all the merchants stop trading with you. So yeah, it's better not to do that. Now let's continue exploring the city. We're gonna go into Bospis' house now and talk to him. And by the way, I think that rain in this game is absolutely amazing. Gothic II rain is the best.
Welcome to my shop, stranger. I am Basper. I craft bows and trade in furs. What brings you to Corinus?
I've heard that someone stole from you.
Who told you that? Probably Bartok, huh? Didn't he have anything better to tell you? Oh, well. Let me tell you, if I get hold of this bastard, he can say his prayers. I left the shop for only a moment. When I came back, I could only just see him leave, with my bow on his shoulder. I called the guards right away, but the lowlife ran towards the harbor, and they lost him there. I lit a bonfire under their asses then, and they searched the entire harbor district. But they didn't find a thing. Those bumbling lackeys. I bet my bow is still in town somewhere. I informed the guards on both city gates, and they haven't seen anyone leave with my bow. When I get my hands on that bastard...
I need to get into the upper quarter.
Where the paladins are? Forget it. You need to be a respected citizen here, or at least hold a decent job. As a stranger, you stand no chance of getting in.
I'm looking for work.
I could use a new apprentice. The last one just gave up his job 2 days ago. Do you know anything about hunting then?
Well...
I could teach you how to skin animals. I'll pay you well for every skin you bring me.
Yeah, since this is the person I'm going to be setting up with, I'm going to learn skinning animals.
What if I want to sign on with one of the other masters?
Balderdash. Harrod and Matteo already have apprentices. Constantino the alchemist is a loner, and he hasn't taken an apprentice in years. And as for Thorben, everyone knows he's dead broke. He probably couldn't even pay you. I, on the other hand, am in urgent need of an apprentice, and I pay well, too. But no matter where you want to sign on, you need the approval of all other masters from the lower part of town.
Will I get your approval to sign up with a different master?
All right. You shall have my approval, but on one condition. Work for me, at least for a short time. That way, you can find out for yourself whether you like my craft or not. And who knows? Maybe you'll end up liking it, and you'll stay with me. If you're good enough to sign on with me, you're also good enough for all others here.
What do you want me to do for you?
I will teach you how to skin an animal, and you will bring me, let's say, 6 wolf skins. Then I'll know that you have learned your trade. If it doesn't take you forever, and if the skins are in acceptable condition, I will take you on if you like. Or, you can start with one of the other masters, if that's what you really want.
Teach me how to skin animals.
Right. Listen, it's quite easy, really. You take a sharp blade and cut open the animal's belly. Then make a few small incisions on the inside of the legs, and you can peel off the skin. Bring me the wolf skins and we shall see.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign up with this guy. And yes, I know it does cost 5 LP, which is not small, but it certainly is not bad for this job. And as I said, I don't really want to sign up with Constantino, and I don't really want to sign up with Herod because you need to learn tons of different sword recipes.
Why did your apprentice give up his job?
All he said was that it had become too dangerous out there. If you're really interested, then you can ask him yourself. His name is Bartok. He's probably hanging out near Corrigan's Tavern. Go through the underpass from the smithy, then you're headed straight for it.
I want to start as your apprentice.
Before I take you on, I need to know, of course, whether you're any good at all.
Alright, so we talk to another master, and let's keep on exploring the town. Talk to Thorben. Now let's talk to the Herod.
New in the city, huh? I'm Brian. I'm Master Herod's apprentice.
Can I buy weapons from you?
Not really. I'm merely an assistant. The weapons that are made in this smithy are collected by the militia and taken to the towers where they're stored. But if it has anything to do with forging, maybe I can help you.
What can I get from you?
I can sell you some steel billets.
What's it like to be the smith's apprentice?
Why do you ask? You want to be my successor?
Maybe.
Why not? I'm almost done with my apprenticeship, and then I'm gonna leave the city. But not because of Herod. He is a good master. I have learned a lot from him.
Why do you want to leave this town?
Because the people here are getting on my nerves above all the other masters. I still remember what a fuss it was getting accepted as an apprentice with Herod. Really, every one of them jokers had something to say about it. I want to decide for myself who I can or can't take as an apprentice.
Who are the other masters?
Well, there's Thorben the carpenter, Bosper the bowmaker, Constantino the alchemist, and Matteo. He sells armor, but first of all, he's a merchant. All the masters have their houses here on the street, and Constantino's shop is in the underpass to the temple.
Tell me more about Master Herod.
He's not in a very good mood right now. A few days ago, the paladins came and ordered him to forge some swords for them. They've even forbidden him to sell swords to anyone else. Now he slaves day and night to finish the job as quickly as possible.
Hey, you! Do you sell weapons too?
Forget it. Everything I make goes to the paladins or the militia. I have a commission for 100 swords from Lord Hagen. He wants to equip the city guard.
I'm looking for work.
I could use a new apprentice. Brian will have finished his apprenticeship soon, and then he'll leave the city. Are you good for anything?
If you mean, do I know blacksmith's work?
No, that's not what I meant. Sooner or later, the orcs are going to lay siege to the city, and then the only men who will count will be those who are in a position to defend our city. And I won't take on anyone as an apprentice who will disgrace me by fleeing the city with the women and the good-for-nothings, instead of holding the fort here with the men.
I'm not a good-for-nothing.
Those are big words. Can you back them up with big deeds?
What are you getting at?
Bring me an orc's weapon. Orcs have been seen near the city. With a bit of luck, you won't have to search for long. If you manage to bring one down, I'll take you on as an apprentice, provided the other masters agree.
When can I start as your apprentice?
Not before you've proven to me that you're good for something.
Can I sign on as an apprentice with a different master?
The other masters may well approve, but I will only give you my approval when you first prove that you're good for something.
Let's talk again about that orc thing.
What?
An orc is a damn tough opponent.
Looking at you, you might be right. You don't have much meat on your bones. But that can change. Nevertheless, you have to prove to me that you have the courage to fight.
So, couldn't it be something slightly smaller?
Hakon, the weapons dealer in the marketplace, told me that he was attacked by bandits a few days ago. The bastards are said to be roaming around somewhere outside the East Gate. Those cowardly rogues shouldn't be terribly bright. Hunt the bastards down. Every single one of them. Then I'll know that we can use you here in the city.
So, by saying that that an orc is a damn tough opponent, we get 2 quests, which is a great challenge, and also we're gonna do the quest that Hakon has by killing the bandits. So that way we get 2 quests and 2 times more XP.
What do you want? I'm not giving anything away.
I'm in need of healing.
Why? Are you injured?
Yes.
There's barely a scratch on you. And I have more important things to do than to talk to you.
Can I sell you some herbs?
If you have any to offer.
Show me your wares.
This book is really useful, but later on. We're not gonna buy it right now because it's very expensive. It's like, what, 400?
I'm looking to become an apprentice.
Really? And with whom are you gonna sign up?
I want to sign up with one of the other masters.
You have come to ask my approval? As far as I'm concerned, you can sign up with whoever you like.
Good, because I don't really want to sign up with you. Sorry. Now let's continue further into the city. We see a water mage
so that
here.
he might undo the
Pretty
work
sure
of
that
Beliar.
Cavaloran told us to go here, so let's talk to Vatras.
Adanos be with you.
Who are you?
I am Vatras, a servant of Adanos, the guardian of the divine and earthly equilibrium. What can I do for you?
Tell me about the Ring of Water.
And why would I do that?
Cavaloran sent me to you.
And what did he tell you?
He said you're in dire need of more good people.
Aha. So, you want to join us, son?
Tell me about the Ring of Water.
And why would I do that?
Seriously?
Here, I've got a letter for you.
For me? Indeed. This is an important message you're bringing me. I wonder how you got hold of this letter.
You can say both. I took it from some bandits or from Cavaloran, but you get more experience if you say from Cavaloran.
I got it from Cavaloran, the hunter.
Cavaloran? Where is he?
He told me to tell you he couldn't make it and is headed for the meeting point. Whatever he meant by that.
I see that you have gained Cavaloran's trust. That speaks in your favor.
Tell me about the Ring of Water.
And why would I do that?
He's serious.
I want to join the Ring of Water.
You do? Well, that means you have already fulfilled the first requirement.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, there must be someone among us to trust you. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know about it. But I know nothing about you at all.
What do you want to know?
Well, you could tell me where you come from and why you have come to the city.
I carry an important message for the leader of the Paladins.
What is this message?
No, it's better to say the truth right here.
A large army is gathering as we talk, led by dragons and determined to conquer the country.
Dragons? You speak of beings which until now have only been mentioned in legends. How do you know this?
Zardas, the magician, told me. He sent me to warn the paladins.
The necromancer? So he lives, and he sent you. Who are you really?
I'm a former convict from the penal colony of Corinus.
Good. Let us summarize. You are a former prisoner who has been told by Zardas, the necromancer, that dragons have come to conquer the country. And you have come to report this to the paladins. That all sounds rather fantastic, but I cannot perceive that you are lying to me. Therefore, I must assume that your motives are honorable. I want to give you a chance to join the Ring of Water.
Tell me about the Ring of Water.
Since you are not yet a member of our community, I cannot tell you everything, of course. But I shall tell you what I may.
Who are the members of the Ring of Water, then?
I cannot tell you that until you join the ring. But you will certainly have met some of them by that time.
Where are the other water mages?
They are exploring the ruins of an old culture northeast of Corinus. We suspect that those ruins might contain a passage to a part of the island which is as yet uncharted.
Tell me more about that uncharted area.
If you're interested in joining the expedition, I could send you to Satyrus with a letter. You can only participate, of course, as long as you're one of us.
Of course. What exactly is it that you do?
We stand between the Order of Innos and the chaos of Beliar. If one of the two sides should gain the upper hand, it will mean either total loss of freedom or deadly chaos. Therefore, we guard the balance between the two. That's what makes life in this world possible for all.
And what does that mean in concrete terms?
The fall of the barrier has evoked numerous threats. The bandits are probably the most obvious one. Not only has it become all but impossible to travel the island without being attacked, there's someone in town, too, who supports the bandits. We have found out that the bandits receive regular deliveries from a weapons merchant in Corinus. We try to find such people and keep them from endangering the city. If you can find out anything about this, let me know.
About this weapons dealer. How much do you know about the weapons dealer?
Ask Martin, the provisions master of the Paladins, about this. He should be able to tell you more. He has been tasked with unmasking the weapons dealer. You can find Martin in the Harbor District. If you see a heap of crates, provision, and paladins, Martin won't be far.
What must I do in order to join the ring?
Know that you take on great responsibility by joining the ring. I do not let just anyone join who comes to us and asks. If you want to join the ring, you will have to prove that you act like one of us.
And that means...
Before we let a young man join our ranks, he must have done a great deed for the ring. Only then can I begin to consider letting you help preserve the balance of forces on this island.
I have vanquished the Sleeper. Isn't that a great enough deed?
My ears hear many a tale these days, including the story about the banning of the beast called the Sleeper. I have not heard that this was achieved by a single man, although your eyes tell me that you are convinced you did this. That confuses me slightly, but I cannot be sure that my senses might not deceive me sometimes.
I have freed many people. The barrier is gone.
Even if you can really claim responsibility for that, the great event in the Valley of Mines has not only set free the water mages and other upright citizens. All the criminals of the entire country are roaming Corinus these days, harassing the population. The bandits have already taken over large areas of land outside the city. It has become all but impossible to leave the town and return unharmed.
So what would be an appropriate deed that might convince you?
Corinus is facing a great enigma these days. The number of people missing from the town seems to increase almost daily. If you can explain to me what happened to them, you shall have your place within the ring of water. However,
Yes?
you should take your message to the paladins first. I consider it a matter of utmost importance. Talk to Lord Hagen.
But Lord Hagen is not going to receive me.
Yes, he will, no doubt about it, provided you become a member of a powerful community first. The ring has far-reaching connections. We shall assist you in conveying your message as soon as possible. You should talk about this to Laris, whom I trust. He will help you.
What community should I join?
There are only 3 communities that have enough influence. These are the City Militia, the Monastery of the Fire Magicians, and the troop of mercenaries on the landowner's farm. The choice is yours, son.
I'll go for the
Laris
militia.
can certainly assist you with this difficult decision. Talk to him about it.
I shall do that.
I'll choose the militia because the quick way to the other guilds does not give you any XP. Well, the militia one does. And plus, I'm already planning to join the militia anyways, so that's gonna be good. Because that's gonna, speak in our favor.
About those missing people,
Yes?
where should I start looking for them?
Most of those people disappeared down by the harbor. That's probably where you should start your search.
Let me tell you what I know.
What have you found out?
Nothing important so far. Is there anything that could help me with my search?
You're a very persistent young man. But I actually can think of something that could make your tasks easier for you. I shall give you this ore amulet. You'll certainly be able to use it. It is an amulet of the searching will-o'-the-wisps. There are only very few of them. The will-o'-the-wisp that inhabits this amulet has very special properties. It can help you find things that normally elude the naked eye. You summon it by simply wearing the amulet. If it loses its power, or you cannot find it, simply put on the amulet again and it will reappear. The will-o'-the-wisp can detect weapons. It could be very helpful to you in investigating the weapons deliveries to the bandits. Treat it well, and it will never fail you.
A will-o'-the-wisp in an amulet?
Will-o'-the-wisps are admirable creatures. They consist of pure magical energy. They are bound to the magical ore in this world. It is their origin. It gives them their strength. I'm not surprised that you've never heard of them. They only appear to the person who bears the ore to which they belong. Will-o'-the-wisps living in the wild have been forcefully removed from their sources. They will attack anyone who approaches them. There is no way to help those pitiful creatures. You would better stay away from them.
Ooh, I've seen them. Basically, they cause insane lag when they die because of all the particle effects.
Can the will-o'-the-wisp do more than that?
More than look for close combat weapons? Not unless you teach it. I think Riordian knows how to teach these beings. He is one of us, currently traveling with Satyrus. Perhaps he can tell you more.
Well, that's one of the water mages from Gothic I.
Thank you. I shall take good care of it.
Riordian, and Satyrus is also.
I'm asking your blessing.
Why should I give you my blessing, stranger?
I want to start an apprenticeship with one of the masters in the lower part of town.
Go with the blessing of Adanos, my son.
Where can I find a priest of Innos?
The best thing would be to look around the marketplace. You will find an emissary of the monastery there.
Can you teach me something about magic?
Only the chosen of Innos and the chosen of Adanos are permitted to work rune magic. But common mortals can also work magic with the help of spell scrolls. I can show you how you can channel and expand your magic powers.
Tell me about the gods.
What exactly would you like to know?
Tell me about Beliar.
Beliar is the dark god of death, destruction, and all things unnatural. He is in eternal battle with Innos, but Adanos guards the balance between the two. Only a few humans follow the call of Beliar. However, he grants great strength to those who do.
Zardos, for example.
Tell me about Adanos.
Adanos is the god of the center. He is the scales of justice and guardian of the balance between Innos and Beliar. He commands the power of change. His gift is the water in all the oceans, rivers, and lakes. His priests are the water mages, just as I am a servant and priest of Adanos.
Tell me about Innos.
Very well. Innos is the first and highest god. He created the sun and the world. He commands light and fire, his gifts to humanity. He is law and justice. His priests are the magicians of fire. The paladins are his warriors. Wait, if you see Laris, give him this ornament and tell him that it needs to be returned. He'll know what to do with it.
Right, guys, so I'm going to call this an episode. This was pretty long. I hope you enjoyed, and, you know, the usual, I hope you guys stay for my next video. I hope you subscribe, like, comment, and see you later.